Good morning everyone, it's Krista here from Second Chance Creation. This is just a very quick video. I've had a couple of ladies ask me in regard to my doilies that I use to when I cut the middle out and how I use the outside. So this is just a very quick video. And yes, look, I've got a new craft mat. And I've kept my old one. It's just next to me under the table. So when I do something really grungy and dirty and painting, I'll just plonk it on here and to keep my new craft mat all nice and clean and new. Don't know for how long. Already a bit of ink on there. So this is what I did. I used a piece of, this was a dress. And like one of those throw over crochet dresses when you go to the beach. That was where the label was. And yes, that was an op shop find, of course. So excuse me. So what the question was, now where's that other doily, in regard to these doilies, okay? I mentioned in my last video that I cut the middle out. And sometimes I use the outside of that piece to frame a photo. And then I use this separately. Now, I do have some of these as well, but it's too big for the project that I wanted because these were too long and I really don't want to cut them off. So that's when I found this piece. And what I did was, because as you can see, it is much smaller, I cut, let me see if I can, okay, I cut out, let me see if I can do this even better still. Where's my little duva? Oh, I'll just use a pencil. I've cut this section out here because I wanted these little bubbles to frame the photo, okay? So I've cut this out and I wanted to use the center. And this from here was just big enough because you can stretch it a little bit to go around the photo, okay? So I've cut this off flush on the little knobbies, okay? And then the next cut was just along here, okay? Because I wanted little bits peeking out from the edge, but I wanted this edge on the outside and this little knobby part on the inside. So, as you can see, I've already cut one out. I've cut them out here, okay? So what I was left with was just this part here. Was just this part here I was left with, okay, because I've cut this off down here, okay? So this of course was too big for me, and that's why I use these. And of course when I cut out, I've got one piece left, so I'll show you how I used it. This is the tag I made, okay? And I inked it. It's for my next grunge journal, and I inked this, and I only have one vintage photo ink. I actually rewarded myself a few months ago, and because I've only got a little bit of chalk left, and I just spray water on it and it just keeps giving me more color. So yeah, so I just inked this with the stamp around. And see how because I made some cabinet cards, and I thought, oh, I wouldn't mind a tag one where I've just cut out the circles with my punch. And then I popped on this image, which was on a cloth. There are two images on a cloth. And I shared this on one of my previous videos, and you can actually see through it. But by the time you put the paper on, you can't see it. So you know, so I just wanted to make it into a tag. So as you can see, think I've got it on, yeah. And this is the middle that I cut out, and there is those little knobby bits, and that's the outside, and I just wanted a little bit of it peeking out, because yes, I could have cut this down, but I didn't want to because I really like the design on the end. So yeah, so I just used 3 pieces of book page that I glued together, and then I cut the circles out, and then I glued this piece of cloth, those two, on the back. And of course then on the back I covered it with coffee dyed paper, and I stitched around it. I then did some gessoing, and I've put some brown chalk, I grated it in my gesso, which is right here, okay, and that gives me then a bit of brown without inking it, because I wanted it a little bit sort of, I suppose you could say, that you could see that something's been brushed on. And then I had this invoice, like a back of like an invoice with all the terms and conditions, and they had numbers on it, okay. So what I did was I actually ripped those numbers out, and I've just popped them on here, all right, and just on here as well, okay. And then I continued on the back, and I reckon that looks really awesome. So doily, so the center of the doily is just here, okay. And then I used a piece of this here on the back, just there, okay. I laid it with a little bit of lace that I had floating around. Don't think I've got any left here. No. And I've just put that on the back I wanted something, you know, to sort of stick out. And I had a little piece of doily. This is of another doily. I wanted a bit of white, just to sort of pick up the bits of light colours here. And yes, and this is the centre of this doily, this little round circle just here, okay. And then I popped on a button. It had a really long shank on the back, and I just cut that off, and just really secured it on there, glued it on. I was going to sew it on. I thought, no, it's going to be too long. So yeah, so this is the outside of the doily. This is the inside of the doily. I could have put 2 on there, but would have been too much. And that's how I use my doilies. And this is a nice little tag. I think that measures about 7.5 inches, because my next grunge journal will be about 8. So yeah, so I love how it come out, and I wanted to show the page number 342. Yeah, so this is how you can use them. So you don't always have to use them. I mean, this is pretty too. I was looking at this, but then, you know, the circle is too small and that circle will be too big. This is a really pretty little design. And look at this cute little cutie here. So yes, so this was just a very quick share of what you can do with the of how I do it with the doilies, okay. And then of course I just use some scrap paper. The back of it, because I coffee dyed it, is what's on the back here, okay. And then of course the numbers, I like the font of it. I thought, oh, just something different to pop on there. So, and I'm just finishing my coffee, and then it's garden day today. It's quite cool, which is fantastic. Good garden weather. And I'll see you all in the next, oh, here is the lace. I'll see you all next in next video. Bye for now.